Hi, this is Lorraine of Chat and Craft with Lorraine Tierney, and I thought I would make a bit of a wintry card today with you. This is a card that was inspired today by the flurries that we kept having, and my trees had a light coating of snow on them. So I thought I would make a card that was kind of similar to that. I hope you can see on here that there's a spot where looks like snow on the trees, and there's an easy technique I used to do that. So I thought we'd do it together. This is the Life is Beautiful stamp set that we're going to use today. And this is a stamp set that is retiring. It is going to be gone forever on January 4th. So if it's one you would like, you need to order it quickly. It's only available while supplies last. We're going to use that, and we're going to use these awesome blending brushes that Stampin' Up! Will be having in the next catalog. I was able to pre-order these, and they are so cool. They are very soft, very smooth, and they do a really nice job blending color onto your paper. So we'll get started. It's a very simple card. I wanted mostly just to show you this technique that we used. So I have the card. Everything is cut, and I'll post the dimensions on my blog later. The card base is 5.5 by 8.5, and I scored it at 4 1/4 and just folded that. I have a piece of Whisper White for the inside that's 5 1/4 by 4. And we're going to use 2 layers on the front. The Balmy Blue is 5 1/4 by 4, and the white is 3 3/4 by 5. Hi, Courtney. Good to see you. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to stamp on this piece of Whisper White, and I'm going to use early Espresso ink on this big tree stamp. It's quite a large stamp. I think this is the biggest block that I own. And I always find with these big stamps, it's much easier to hold the ink pad and apply the ink that way. And you can see and make sure you get good coverage. And with these thin photopolymer stamps, I use that Stampin' Pierce mat underneath to give me just a little bit of cushion under there. Oh, good, Melanie. You'll see a little bit on how to use the blending brushes. I'm going to stamp the tree down towards the bottom of the paper because I want it to look like it's grounded and in the ground. I don't want my tree floating in the air. So I'm going to put that down and give it a little bit of time for that ink to get on there, and then lift it up. And there's my tree. All right, now here comes the very technical, hard technique. We are going to use a white crayon, just a regular Crayola white crayon, and the wax in the crayon acts like a resist, so that when we blend some ink over it, the crayon resists the ink, and it looks like you have a layer of white snow on your tree. The trickiest part is that it's really hard to see where you have that crayon and where you don't, because it's white on white. And this tree is a little bit tricky because not all of the branches are flat. So I had a hard time figuring out which surfaces would actually collect the snow and which ones wouldn't. I'm not sure if my tree defies nature at all, but I'm doing the best I can. So I'm just going to take my crayon and I'm going to put a thin line of the white crayon or snow along these branches, especially the branches that are going horizontally. And I figure in this little V, some snow might pile up a little bit. Maybe right here. And then down in there. And a little over here. So you get the idea. I'm adding some white. I don't know, this might be a blizzard. Some of my lines might be pretty thick. So you can go from a light dusting to a blizzard pretty easily. Okay, so I think that's pretty good. You can slightly see, if I look closely, I can see a little bit where that white crayon is, but it's pretty hard to tell. So I'm using Seaside Spray for the sky tonight. I think it looks pretty blue and not so purpley on here when I used it earlier. We'll see how it happens tonight. So you can see that the brush has a little bit of ink left on it, but it really doesn't come off right now. So I'm just going to tap a little ink. I don't need this mat anymore. Tap a little ink on my brush, and I'm going to rub it off just a little bit at first. And then go onto the paper, swirling it around. And just like with the sponges, it takes a bit until you build up some of the ink on your paper. It doesn't show up too much at first. And I just keep picking up more and adding ink. You can see if I hold it next to a plain white one, the color is a little bit different, but it takes a little bit to build it up. Now I'm not going to worry about stamping off quite so much because the sky usually looks a little mottled, or it's not a real even color, so I'm okay if I get a little cloud-like look in the sky. I'm starting to see a little bit of white on the trees where the ink is not quite going. I'm not putting too much pressure on the blending brush, but just letting it smooth around. I'm trying to pick up a little bit more ink so that I won't be here for too long with you watching me do this. Doing it live, it feels like, 20 minutes or so. Can you see how that snow is appearing? Let me know if you can see it, Michelle or Courtney. Melanie, good to see you guys. Did you guys get any snow today? Ours didn't accumulate, but it did seem to snow and flurry most of the day. All right, I'm just going to try to get a little bit more up here. I like how smoothly the ink goes on with these blending brushes. I don't get any of the grainy lines that I sometimes get with a sponge. And you can see there's not too much ink left on the brush, and I can just rub it off a little bit. Michelle, you got a few flurries. All right, let's see. Tommy, good for you. You can see a little bit of the snow. How does it look if I hold it here? Let's see if I can get a little better look at that. There you go. You can see it there. So there's also, I could put a little wink of Stella in there to make it sparkly, but I was trying to keep it pretty simple for this, so you would just see that technique So now I'm going to stamp my sentiment on there. I'm going to use, I need some thinking of you cards for some people. So this stamp set comes with a thinking of you stamp. I love the hello. I use that a lot too. And life is beautiful. Life is beautiful, but these days there's a lot of people that are going through tougher times, so I'm not quite feeling that sentiment, but I like the thinking of you. And I'm going to put that in the same place as I did on the other one. I'm talking and not paying attention. I hope I have enough ink on that. Thinking of you. I love it. I love the mix of fonts. Let me close this up. All right. And so now I'm just going to use a little bit of the stamp and seal to put this down. There's a little bit of a trick to getting used to using the stamp and seal. With the other snail, I used to just pull, and this one doesn't break too well if you do that. So you have to pull it up to 90 degrees and then give it a little flick. There we go. Let's see if I can get this centered. All right. Now I'll put that on the front. I do like this seal. I feel like it has a really good hold. I don't think things are going to fall off using this. All right, and then on the inside here, I did stamp a little tree peeking out. So I thought we could do that on this one. And I'm going to do that before I put it in the card, just in case I make a mistake and because the fold of the card would get in the way. So let me ink this up again. Michelle, I saw you said you might not have a big enough block. This is the F block. I think this is the biggest one, but you can always use your Stamparatus. You'll be all set with that. And I'm just going to I want a little bit of the tree to peek out, not the whole tree. I'm going to try to get a little bit more of the trunk on this one. All right. There we go. It has an adorable little birdhouse and a couple of birds too. I thought about hanging those from the tree, but I didn't want to try to match that up on live video. So now I'm going to put this one on the inside. Whoops. And that will make our card. I did add a blue adhesive backed gem. They have the blue color, and then this is kind of like a pretty peacock or teal green color. I'm going to use the blue again, and I use my take your pick tool to lift that gem off. I don't know how we survived without this. And just put one right there. And I will call that good. So that's our card with the Life is Beautiful stamp set. Like I said, it's going to retire. It'll be gone on January 4th. So if it's something you like, hurry up and order that. And remember the little technique for putting some snow on that tree in the winter. This also has leaves for fall, or they could be spring leaves depending on the color. It has snowflakes. And it has dots that people have done in all different colors for the seasons, and a little shadow that you can use on that tree too. So it's a great stamp set. I think it's one that you'll use throughout the year. If you would like, I would love it if you shared this video so that other people could see it and I could reach a few more people. And if you ever want to shop for any Stampin' Up! Items, I'd be happy to help you and be your demonstrator or send you a catalog if you need one. Oh, Courtney, I'm glad that you're glad you bought that stamp set. And I think Michelle said she just bought it. And yes, Tommy, I will do a birthday card sometime. Are you interested in seeing a birthday card? You let me know if there's something in particular you'd like. Thank you, Mary, for sharing. I really appreciate it. And thank you, Jan, for saying what a pretty stamp set. And everybody have a good night. I will talk to you soon. Bye.